Wife Material Podcast. Being a woman. Being a woman of the past versus being a woman of the present. You know, there's a difference between a modern woman and a real woman. Big difference. Modern women, ironically, want to be like men. They want what men have, what men do. They want to do the same things as we do, which is fine in the idea that if you want to do what we do, then you have to do everything we do. You can't half-ass it. You can't do half of what we do and then think you're equal. That don't make sense. You can't do, especially when it comes to relationships. Because for me, as long as what a modern woman or female, right, does in her life, as long as it doesn't affect me in my life, I don't care. But if I'm trying to be in a relationship with her, it matters how she behaves. It matters, if she's truly living up to whatever she feels she is. So if you're a modern woman, then that means you should be, if you make money, right, then money shouldn't matter. Which means the guy you're interested in, that you love, hopefully you love him, because then that's pointless for you not to love him but still want to be with him. That's just some ignorant stuff. But anyway, it's one thing to be friends with somebody, right, or to know somebody, be associated with somebody, and just be nice and be able to coexist with somebody. That's one thing. But if the idea is you're supposed to be boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife, then it's supposed to go beyond that. It's supposed to be more than that. It can't be just y'all just roommates. Y'all just so happen to live with each other. Y'all just so happen to coexist. That's one of the problems with the modern world we have, when females think that being with a guy is it's kind of like living with your brother or something, like living with a family member, or just living with a stranger. That's the worst part. Treating your husband or your boyfriend, your significant other, right, as a stranger you just so happen to be hanging out with, staying, sleeping in the same bed with, traveling together and stuff like that. It's like, y'all supposed to be more than that. Y'all not strangers. You're not supposed to be strangers. Y'all supposed to get to know each other. Y'all supposed to really, really like each other and live happy ever after. That's the way it's supposed to work. But the way modern women are, that's not what they think. That's not how they behave. They see guys as an asset, right? As a resource, as a commodity, as an accessory. They see men as something to obtain, to have, because it's, what every other female out there is doing. If a female has a job, right, a car, a house, and a man, then most females think, oh, I gotta have those things too, because females think materialistically, not they're supposed to think more emotionally, so you think there'll be more about love than anything, which is the irony. When it comes to relationships, men are more about emotions than they are about logic. Ironically, women are the opposite. They're more trying to be logical when it comes to relationships, which is why they tend to do this whole, we need to be partners and be teammates and make decisions together and all this stuff. And it's like, well, no, that's not how it works. If it did work that way, then it would work that way and it wouldn't be a problem. You wouldn't be having people online like Kevin Samuels, for example, talking about people, females and guys, not getting along. That the marriage rate is, decreasing and divorces are increasing. He wouldn't be talking about that kind of stuff if the whole partnership, 50-50, men and women are equal type stuff was actually true. The traditional ways of men and women interactions, are not better than the modern male and female interactions. And we have proven easily over 40 years plus that the modern way isn't the right way. It definitely isn't the better way, that's for sure. It is the selfish way. Modern women are selfish. Women of the past were selfless, which obviously made them better. Because here's the thing, by default, men are typically selfless, not selfish. This is why when we say, oh, that guy, he's selfish, he's an asshole, he's this, that, and third. Yeah, those are traits of boys. Fuck boys. Man-child. Typically incels and stuff like that. Like, those are not real men when they're extremely selfish. Extremely selfish. It's one thing to be, to say no once in a while when somebody else is trying to be selfish and greedy, right? Trying to be a freeloader. It makes sense to say no here and there, being strict. But it's not selfish to, be like no to wasting money on dumb shit, right? It's selfish to waste money on dumb shit. It's not selfish to say no. But then you got the idea that, that females don't need guys, right? I don't need no man because I got money. And it's like, well, that's the thing. You're hurting yourself by doing that, by saying you don't need a man for money, because that's the thing that you wanted him for in the first place. I wish the whole making your own money was for the purpose of taking that financial burden off of the man, making it where he doesn't have to be rich to be with you. He doesn't even have to have, he doesn't have to make a lot of money. He can make $20K a year and that be enough, because you love him for who he is. As long as he makes enough money that, your income, his income together, y'all can live a nice, comfortable life. Y'all live happily ever after. But the problem is that that's not why y'all making money. That's not why modern women are making money. They're using it, ironically, right? Some of them will be like, well, I'm using this. Well, I'm making money so that way I don't have to rely on a man for money. So that way a man can't use money to control me. Okay. All right. I can understand that logic. That has a bit of logic to it. But here's the thing, though. The females that say that, the females that have, money, they tend to use it to control men. That's hypocritical. That's the whole thing. That's the problem. That's the issues we have now. Because guys have no problem with women making money. We want y'all to make money so y'all can get all the things y'all want, all the wants. Notice I said want, not needs, not get all the things you need, get all the things you want. And we men will take care of the stuff you need, right? Food, shelter, protection, right? Love, right? Anything else that is necessary, right? If you're in really, really need, something happens. Let's say, God forbid, you get hurt or something, and we'll pay your medical bills, right? Because that's a need, because you need that. So we got you on that. But what we don't got you on and shouldn't got you on is childish, frivolous wants. Oh, I want this pony just because I want it. Like, well, then you pay for it. I'm not gonna pay for no pony. Like, that's childish. I'm not gonna pay for something you don't need, and especially if after you have it you don't appreciate it. That's another thing. Most people, especially females, when they want something, wanting it is the thing that they matter to them the most, because the feelings, they want it. So they feel some type of way, like, oh my God, such a cute pony, or such a cute purse or car or whatever. I want it. And once they get it, that feeling goes away immediately. Some people, there's a term for it, is like buyer's remorse, but the irony is, you're not the one buying it. I'm the one buying it. So I buy you a horse, right? And then after you get the horse, it feels great for a while, but then, after a couple of hours, days, suddenly it's like, oh man, the horse making too much noise. It's too much work. I don't want it no more. It's like, what? All this complaining you did for the horse, and now you don't want it no more. Which means you should have never gotten the horse. Or I should say, I should have never gotten you the horse, because logically, it was obvious you didn't need it. But to make you happy, I got you it anyway, right? even though it wasn't logical to have a horse, especially if you don't have a place for it. It's like you live in an apartment. Wow, why do you want a horse? But okay, whatever. It's not like you're on a farm or something, or a ranch, where it makes sense if I got you a horse, but you want a horse while you living in a studio apartment. Like, make that make sense. But anyway, the point I'm making there is the fact of thinking like, oh, I need to, I want this, I want, and that's obviously something that came from your childhood, and you dragged it all into your adulthood, and now you just constantly want, instead of need. And then not only that, also reduce your need, because a logical thing to do is to reduce your cost of living. This is something that most guys do, especially rich guys. Part of why they're rich is because they're always trying to spend less money, not spend more money. In a female's mindset, it's all about consumption, especially with corporations and governments, brainwashing women into thinking, oh, I gotta buy. Happiness comes from buying. Money does buy happiness. They want you to think that money does buy happiness. And the thing is, like, no, money shouldn't buy happiness. Happiness should be free. That's the problem. Companies want you to think that happiness comes through buying stuff. Of course, they're companies. That's their purpose. Their existence is to get money out of you. This is why the rich get rich and the poor get poorer. But that's for another conversation, for another podcast. But that's one of the problems, is the idea of thinking that receiving things, getting things, a guy buying you things is what makes you happy. Just because it does have the side effect of making you feel happy that a guy does something for you. But the irony is, it's not the fact that he spent the money, right? It's not the money that is what made you happy. It's the fact that he was willing to, right? He was willing to spend the money. You said you wanted something and he made it happen. That's what made you happy. His gesture, his actions is what made you happy. And that's why everything a man does for a woman should make her happy. If he throws out the trash, should make you happy. If he protects you when you're in danger, should make you happy. Definitely should make you horny. But that's for another conversation, right? The thing is, the things he does for you, because remember, he's doing it for you, should make you happy. And it's sad that, the way modern women are nowadays, they don't appreciate what men do for them. Even though everything that y'all like and enjoy and appreciate, right? Y'all forget that it was men who created all that stuff in the first place. And then y'all don't respect or appreciate men in general, even though the stuff that you do enjoy, you do love, that you do care about, that you do want, was all created by men. You want a house, men built that. You want money, men invented that. Y'all want pretty clothes, men designed it. Men created the materials for it, right? You hungry, you want some fancy gourmet meal, a man farmed it, right, to get all the ingredients, and a man cooked it, right? Not saying that females can't do stuff. Not saying that some females on this planet haven't done anything in the history of mankind. What we're just saying is that if we were to, at a percentage, 90% of what you enjoy and 90% of what you see around you and you experience and you interact with on this planet that's man-made is literally man-made, not female-made, not woman-made. It's man-made. That's why I always think it's so funny and so hypocritical for feminists to be like, men bad, everything that men do is bad, everything men do is wrong, yet they're out here using smartphones, they're out here with having jobs, money, cars, apartments, all this man-made shit. Because the job is man-made. Men came up with the idea of getting paid for manual labor. Because originally it was a barter system. Originally it was like a man offered his physical capabilities to farm on somebody's farm in exchange for food. It's like, hey, I'll help you on this farm, help you farm all this stuff if you give me a couple fruits and vegetables so I can eat. And that's how it started. Unless you want to really believe the females were the first ones to do that. They're the ones out there, offering to do manual labor, hard physical labor for fruits and vegetables, for chickens and cows. No, it was guys doing that. It was guys going out there fishing and hunting, the whole hunter-gatherer thing, right? If we go all back to ancient times, right, to prehistoric time, it was men who were doing that by default. And we still do that. We still out here building things, collecting things, resources. This is why men bring resources, strength, physical labor to the table. Females bring their biological functions, their womb, right, to reproduce, to keep making more men, right? But of course, in order to keep making more men, we need more women to, help keep producing more men. But if you really look at it biologically in a scientific way, women exist to make men. Men exist to create the world. And that's literally what we've been doing for thousands of years. It's only in the past, 60 years? This whole, men and women are equal. Men and women can do the same things. Like, technically, we can do a lot of the same things, but so can a monkey. So can a parrot. So can a cat and dog. This is why we teach cats and dogs tricks. We teach cats and dogs to dial 911, to play pianos and shit. Like, anything can learn how to do something, because it's just physical activity. You just got to understand, how to perform certain actions. But biologically, the reason men have penises and women have vaginas is for the purpose of reproducing. It is not for financial gain, like on Onlyfans or any nonsense like that. It's definitely not to, use it as a way of expressing the idea of like, I have dominance over you because of this. It's like, because you have that body part, therefore you think you're in charge. Not that you actually qualify to be in charge, not because you actually have the mental fortitude to make great decisions and make tough decisions, and even accept the consequences and take accountability for your decisions and even the decisions of others, which is what men typically do. You think because you have a certain body part that makes you qualified to be in charge. No, it doesn't work that way. Men are not typically in charge because they have a penis. That makes no sense, because every guy has a penis. So how does one guy get to be the leader of a whole bunch of groups of guys? It's because he has something that those guys don't have. And clearly penis is not the thing he has that they don't have. Clearly it's more than that. It's good decision making. It's experience, knowledge, wisdom. This is why older men are respected by younger men, and supposed to be. This is why younger women typically supposed to be with older men, because of that. Because they're wise. Because of their experience in life, not just like sexually or anything, in life. And it's very important to keep making more men like that. So when you have a really, really smart guy with really good genetics, he really, really, for the community, for the human race, really, really should have an offspring, because he's amazing. And he definitely should be with a woman who also has really awesome genetics to make a much better version of him. So, of course, most typically, we tend to want boys to be born first, because they're going to be the ones physically doing shit, and then girls second. So it's boys, then girls. Because the older brother, the boys, right, their job is to look after their sisters, not vice versa. It's not supposed to be an older sister looking after her younger brother. It doesn't work that way. That's a backwards concept, right? That doesn't work too well. And we've seen it time and time again. That doesn't work too well. Just like the idea of a woman being in charge versus a man being in charge. It doesn't work well. If it did work well, then it'd be fine. It wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't even be something to talk about. We wouldn't be saying it doesn't work if it did work. But it doesn't. Time and time again has been proven, time and time again, historically, over thousands of years, that it doesn't work. And we want it to work. The things we want it to work. It'd be nice if it worked. You know, I'm all supporter of female presidents, female CEOs, female leaders in military, or even in the household, you know, a wife being in charge. I'm not against that. The thing is, it doesn't work. If it does, shit, that's a miracle. If I find a woman who's fully capable of you know, managing and leading the family, I'm all for letting her lead. But the likelihood of me finding a female like that, or I should say a woman, which is very rare to find a woman who can lead, who can be in charge, that's very rare. And that's the point, it's very rare. But every female on this planet right now thinks that they're fully capable of leading, being able to do exactly what men do. And it's like, you don't do exactly what men do. Y'all don't want to do what exactly men do, because men don't have it easy. Men don't do shit easy. This is why we're built to do things the hard way. Granted, you know, we're the ones who came up with the philosophy, work smarter, not harder. But ironically, we still, by default, end up doing things the hard way. You know, we could wait until a device to be brought to lift something heavy up. We could wait for that. Or, fuck it, pick up this heavy thing ourselves and move it anyway. Shit, even when I was in the military, I was in some scenarios where there was items that were heavy, and it was labeled as a 2-man carry item. So it requires 2 men to carry it. But I single-handedly carried it myself. Of course, most of the guys were impressed by me doing it by myself. You know, that happens. But the point is that it would have been easier, right, work-wise, if I did just, you know, had somebody else help me move it, because that's less work I had to do. But, you know, I had a lot of energy to spare, a lot of strength. So, of course, I just did it, and it helped speed the process up, because the other way was slower, but it was easier on the body for the other guys to do it 2 men at a time. Me just doing it, you know, just 1 man at a time, just helped speed up the process. So the work got done faster, but obviously the next day I felt a little sore. Not too sore, but still sore from doing all that work myself, you know, or doing the work that I did myself. But again, see, working harder instead of smarter, right? Smarter would have been doing it the slow way that doesn't take, you know, that doesn't cause physical harm, right? And get the job done anyway. So that's the thing about working smarter and harder versus smarter. Women typically are smart, yes, of course, just like men. So you can do a lot of the logistics, a lot of the intellectual things, right? And this is why usually women were in the household, because they handle a lot of the thinking, a lot of the logistics. They handle a lot of the resource management, while the men, collected the resources and brought it home. The female was the one who took care of it. The woman was the one who did stuff with it. Oh, you brought food. All right, let me make sure that it lasts long. Make sure that it's enough for everybody to eat and everybody gets proper portions. Since the boys, the males of the family, you know, do a lot of the physical labor, they get more food because they need it. They need more calories. They need more proteins for their muscles to get strong from all the hard physical labor they did. See, now, you know, because of technology and stuff like that, things are easier. We actually don't need women to do 99% of what they used to do. The only 1% thing left, and that might even get replaced, but, you know, hopefully not. Love you, ladies, but it's sex. Everything that women normally brought to the table normally was useful, right? Was useful to bring into a relationship, into a symbiotic relationship, is easily replaced through technology. Just like how women are like, oh, I don't need your money. I don't need you for this. I don't need you for a house. I don't need you for a car. I don't need you for all these things. Like, yeah, now. But there was a time where women did need those things from a man. If a man didn't have that, if a guy didn't have a house, a car, and money, he was a loser to her. He wasn't a winner. He wasn't worthy of her. Even to talk, even to even be a friend. If you had no house, car, and money, you weren't even worthy of friendship. That's how women used to be. That's how strict they were with a man had to do something. He had to be worth something. He had to achieve something. Now it's like, oh, men's money don't mean nothing because I got my own money. A man's house means nothing because I got my own house. A man's car means nothing because I got my own car. And then it's just this whole, flex. I use that term flex. It's this whole flex thing. Now you want to flex that you got money, car, and house. It's like, all right, well, that's good for you. But the thing is, I don't care about money, car, and house. Those things that I obtain is for you. It's because that's what you like. That's what you're interested in. You care about these materialistic things way more than I do. Way more than any guy does. We like it because it's useful. These are useful things, but we'll be just fine on an island, fishing and eat, sleep, and, just find some form of entertainment, maybe playing, volleyball or something on the beach, or even just thinking. Men love to think, that's for sure. And just thinking about all different types of stuff, thinking about the universe, just lost in thought, right? Read a book or something. We don't need much. The thing is, when it comes to men, all we need is stuff to do or something to do, if you know what I mean, ladies. So it's like, we don't need much. We're very minimalist, on average. Unaverage is the guys who just want everything, right? But on average, the norm is we tend to need less and want less. This is why sex sandwich and silence is a thing, right? The reason we use that expression, that concept, is to show how simple we are. And simple does not make us dumb or anything like that. That's not what we mean by simple. We're just saying it's like we know and we understand we don't need a lot to live life. We don't need a lot to be happy. Women feel they need a lot to be happy. A man has to have a lot of money, has to have a lot of clout, a lot of, has to, have a lot of height, have more inches than her, more inches than most guys, if you know what I mean. Like, they always want more than they could ever need or want. That's the thing, they always want more than they deserve. The things you deserve are the things you earn. You earn what you deserve. You don't deserve it just because you exist. You don't deserve it because you want it. You deserve it because you earned it. You did stuff to earn it. Just like dating, right? Well, I mean, dating is like going on a date, like going to a restaurant or something, or movie theater or something, and a guy is paying for it. You don't deserve that until you earn it. You got to do stuff for him to earn that, for him to reward you with a date, with an experience, with his time. He's a human being. His life is short, just like yours are. So you're wasting his time thinking that he's supposed to spend his time, his life, giving you attention, giving you experiences that makes your life fun and more interesting than it really is. But then you don't want to give him nothing in return. It's like, so he gave you all this. He gave you a dinner and a movie and bought you some gifts. So he did all this stuff that made you really, really happy for the couple hours y'all worked together. But you won't even give him like 5 minutes of access to your body, for example, not the only thing, but for example. Really? I've seen that non-logical concept numerous times. The idea of like a woman will spend like 2-3 hours of a man's time talking, or during a date or something like that, or just going on a date in general, or anything like that, or just spending time at her place or his place or whatever, or somewhere, like maybe at a park, just talking for hours and hours and hours, but then have a problem with just a 5, 10, 15 minutes of time with you doing something that he prefers. So you'll waste 3 hours of his time, his life, but won't let him. If you consider it a waste, it shouldn't be a waste because you're getting something out of it as well. But let's say you feel it's a waste, you're not going to let him at least waste 5 to 10 minutes of your time. If you feel that activity is a waste of time for you, he gave you more time. That's the thing. Guys give more to females than females give back to men. We ask for very little because it doesn't take a lot to make us happy. Because ultimately, what makes us happy the most is what we do, right? For females, if you say nice things to them, that makes them happy. Guys do appreciate nice things being said to them, but just giving a guy an opportunity to do something he likes to do, that makes him way more happy. So if a guy wants to play video games and you leave him alone so he can do that, that makes him way happier than the opposite is you nagging him and complaining that that's what he wants to do. Just like having some adult time with him will make him happy because that's something he wants to do. Makes him way happier than, well, anything, the opposite of that, which is not, right? And that's the thing. Guys derive their happiness from doing stuff. Like literally doing stuff or people. For females is the opposite. It's a lot of times it's words makes them happy, which is why words can make them sad, right? Experiences, right? Like they see something. Like, oh my God, this is an amazing, street performance or something. It makes me happy. All right, cool. That makes you happy. You saw something. Oh, you saw, a pony. That made you happy. Whatever. Like, you saw a movie and it made you happy. All right, great. You saw a waterfall somewhere in the world, and that's your first time seeing it. Great. That makes you happy because it's something new and different for you. That is great. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But it's sad when you take away a man's ability to do that for you. When you take away that which he normally does for you. He will be the one to take you around the world and, show you the world, literally, right? And that's what you normally want, which is more reason why you shouldn't be pushing the idea of like, you don't need a man for anything when you do need him for those things. You do need him to pay for things. You do need him to physically do things like reach for something because he's taller than you, lift heavy things because he's stronger than you. Like, men are used or useful to women, right? Through their physical capabilities, This is why we fuck you, not the other way around, right? It's what we do for you physically, right, is what we bring to the table more often than not. We would love to be able to bring, love, right, and emotions and spirituality and all this other stuff, right? But that's not what y'all really want. That's not what y'all care about. Y'all like the idea of like, yeah, he gotta be spiritual and emotional and this, that, and third, emotionally vulnerable, blah, 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 blah. But we know the real reason why y'all want that, and it's not a good reason, and that's the problem. Y'all don't want those things for the reasons it should be, Because by default, men, of course, love women. Men care for women, right? Men do many things for women. The world exists because of things men did for women. Women didn't want to live in caves. Women didn't want to be, trying to sleep, out in the forest, right? And then have a bear attack her or a tiger or something. She wanted to be safe. So men built shelters, built houses to protect the women. And not only the women, but also the children. Because if she gets pregnant, she's even more vulnerable than she was before. She already was vulnerable. Now she's even more vulnerable. So shelter, protect her. That's what we provide. That's what she needs. So we provide her needs. And all guys want in return is small little wants. We don't want too much. We just want a couple things here and there. One of those things is peace, respect. Love is always good, right? Things that naturally should come natural to a female anyway. That a female should be, by default, radiating. You should be radiating kindness and respect and love and kindness, right? And by you radiating that, right, by you living that life of positivity and respect and love and stuff like that, then by default, guys will obviously be affected by it. They'll be nicer to you, they'll respect you, they'll protect you, they'll take care of you, you know, the normal stuff. But with women out here trying to act all tough and trying to act like they're dangerous and psychotic and crazy, and, you know, you say the wrong thing at the wrong time, they're going to catch an attitude, they're going to cancel you or call the cops on you or some nonsense. You know, it's like, damn, what the hell happened to women? Right? What happened to the female race? You know, what happened to the female part of the human race? Y'all were always referred to as the better half, yet modern day women aren't the better half anymore. Men now are. The irony in that, we are the better half. Yet the irony at the same time is a lot of females out here talking about men ain't shit. Men are trash. Men are bad. But we're the ones that are the better half. If we are truly the shitty part of the race, of the human race, y'all supposed to be the good part of the human race. So why are y'all constantly with these negative ideas, negative thoughts? If y'all the better half, right, then that means y'all should be teaching us, right, to be better by y'all actions, right? Actions speak louder than words. But instead, y'all rather bitch and complain about what men are supposedly doing, but in reality, those aren't men that you're interacting with. Those are not men you're dealing with. If there's guys you're dealing with that are doing very childish things, very unmanly things, those were never men. You haven't really met a man. You haven't really interacted with a real man. Clearly, if you think men by default are selfish, assholes, douchebags, cheaters, right? Liars. That's not men shit. That's childish boy shit. That's not men shit. Being a man is not being old and having a penis. Being a man is something you become. You become a man. And being a man is better than being a boy. Being better than being a fuckboy and a man child and an incel and this and that. Being a man is what you're supposed to become. It's what's ideal. Being a man is the same thing as like being Superman, right? Women love Superman. It makes sense. Why wouldn't they? He's awesome, right? He's awesome in many different aspects. So that's the thing about being a man. Being a man is being awesome at a lot of things. Which means, you know, being smart, being strong, right? Other physical attributes, you know, are beneficial. Even if you're short, the fact, you know, even if you're short, if you can make the most of it, if you could do amazing things, even though you're short, hey, you're a man, right? You know, a man doesn't have to be 6 feet tall. You could be 5'6", and you know, be a man, right? Most women, you know, most females out there would disagree, but, well, they don't know no better, obviously. Because being a man is a mental, it's a state of mind, right? Just like being a woman is a state of mind. This is why we keep, you know, talking about, this is why I keep, you know, this whole time keep saying female, because most females aren't women. They aren't women yet. They didn't learn to be women. They didn't give up their childish little daddy's little girls mentality. This whole like, gimme. I gotta have. I want. Even though you have your own money to go get what you want. Get what you want with your money. And us guys will take care of your needs. We'll take care of your shelter. We'll take care of your health. We'll take care of your safety. when we have kids, we'll take care of the kids in you. We'll take care of leadership, right? Managing things. We'll take care of a lot of that stuff, But it's just so weird, the idea of thinking this like, oh no, we're equal, or just because, I'm so used to doing things myself and not asking anybody else to do stuff for me, I'm going to keep doing that. It's like, well, if you're going to keep doing things by yourself, then you should be by yourself. If you want to be in a relationship with somebody, it's not about you. It's about y'all. And most importantly, there has to be a leadership structure. One leads, the other one follows. So you have to decide. If you want to be the leader, one, you better be qualified for it. And two, you need to find somebody who's willing to follow you. Don't go looking for a guy who is the leader and then tell him to follow you. That don't make no sense. He's a leader. Leaders don't follow. Leaders lead. Common sense, right? It's like asking somebody who drives a car to be a backseat passenger or something, or to sit in the passenger seat. No, they're a driver. They drive. They're going to drive, and they're going to want to drive, right? Just like when you're in a car, one person drives, the other person doesn't. So decide: are you going to drive, or are you going to let somebody else drive? You can't be like, yeah, husband, you can drive the car, but then while you're in the vehicle, constantly, micromanaging, constantly, backseat driving, basically telling the person what to do and what not to do when it comes to driving. And that's the end of the podcast.